It's a beautiful day, and I hope that you are making the best of it. I started today with a song that has been on my heart like for a very long time. This is the doing of the Lord, and I know that as I was listening to that song, I kept thinking about people who are in season where that song that does not actually speak to them. They feel like, no, I think God abandoned me. I think things are just not working out. But I will tell you one thing. Yesterday, I was actually posting something very random, and I was saying that everything works together for your good. Like everything works together for your good. If you check behind the curtains of what God is doing in your life, even when the front part seems like you are in a storm, it seems like you are beaten down, it seems like you are shaken down, believe me, God is cooking up something, and He's not going to waste any of your tears. He's not going to waste any of your story. He's not going to waste anything that has happened to your life. Okay? So I want us to believe together that this is the doing of the Lord, and I'm so excited to get back to you. I'm so excited to be having these chats with you. I'm so excited about the growth that is happening in your life. However, I want us to take that growth to the next level. I want us to take that growth with a lot more intentionality. I want us to understand where you are so you can be able to pick up yourself so that you can be able to get to a much better place. I know that we are all in a journey of growth, even if you don't call it that, on a journey to get better, and we all have a starting point. The starting point is where we are. Some of us are not self-aware. Some of us have long distracted ourselves. We don't want to admit where we are. But if you are honest enough, and that is where I want us to begin with this conversation, if you are honest enough to know and to be aware about where you are right now and feel that unsettling feeling that this is not where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm not supposed to be spiritually. This is where I'm not supposed to be when it comes to my personal finances. This is where I'm not supposed to be here. Yes, this journey has brought me to where I am, but I think I need more equipping. I think I need more tools. I think I know more knowledge, more wisdom. I think I need more action to be able to get to where I am. And there's a vague picture of where we all want to be. And to some of us, the picture is actually crystal clear. Some of us, the picture is very vague. And guess what? When we have that vision, that big vision, some of us are filled with disbelief. Some of us are filled with doubt. Some of us are filled with, we don't know whether it will even ever happen. So you see that doubt. That is why some of us never do what is necessary to be done in between where we are to where we want to go, because we have that picture. We know what we want. We know the success that we want. We know the significance that we want. We know the thriving and the flourishing life that we want. We know the kind of life that we want, but we are not willing to do the things that are in between, and these things are not easy. We're not just going to draft or to drift into the life that we want. That is where we must be very, very careful. So today what we're going to talk about, the conditions that guarantee growth, and then we are going to be able to dig deep into the kind of zones, the growth zone where you are or where most people live, so that you can identify if I'm in a zone that I don't want to be in, then I can be able to shift and get into another zone. All right? So when it comes to the conditions that guarantee your growth, number one is actually being very intentional about growth. Growth does not happen. It's not like you would grow in age or you would grow body-wise, because that is automatic. Growth is not automatic. And growth, what are we growing towards? Because as you grow in the human body, like you have no aim. The aim is to just grow big and tall. Okay, that is the body growth, the body development. Okay, but you still realize that the body knows that by this age you should be here, by that age you should be here, by that age your voice should sound like this, your body parts should be like this, and by this age you should have gray hair, by this age. So it also has its own timelines. But when we talk about growth, we are talking about getting better. We are talking about drawing closer to the goals that we have set. We are talking about looking and redefining what success looks to us, and then being able to walk in that line to the kind of life that we want and to the kind of life that God has promised. Yeah, because he says that the devil came to steal, to kill, and destroy, but Jesus came, but I have come that you will have life, and life in its abundancy. So that means part of the picture is abundancy, okay? And if you're not living in abundance, that means you are moving towards abundance. You are growing towards abundance, okay? Your vision has the power. Your vision has the energy to attract you. If you dream the dreams that you need to dream, if you open your mind and do not dream according to the situations you are in, the storm that you are in, the lack that you are in, okay? If you dream according to where you are, then you're not dreaming big enough. But I just wanted to explain, growth is something we are being attracted by the visions that we are creating. What creates that vision? It is the belief that we can actually get to those dreams. So you realize that it has to be very intentional. You must be able to say that, you know what, I am moving towards the direction. If I want to be a public speaker, or to be a very good speaker that transforms lives, that does not just speak randomly, but I speak with a lot of value. If that is the picture that I have, and I am on big stages, I have ever had that picture. I mean, I had that picture when I must have been in lower secondary, and I saw myself on stadiums, and I had never even seen these stadiums. The best I had seen was my church. My church was in a school hall. Some of us have been in school halls, and we know how, you know how they create like 3 classrooms, and so they divide them during the week. That is the primary school I went to, where you get a Christian Academy. That is where Full Gospel used to the home of Full Gospel used to be. And so there were 3 classrooms. Actually, there were 2 classrooms. I remember it must have been P4 and P5. And so during Sunday, they would take away the partition, because it was a temporary partition, to make it a church. And then after Monday, then we would put back the partition. That is the church that I was in. There was nothing like a podium. There was nothing like a platform that was raised above others. There was nothing. But I used to look at my pastors preach every Sunday. I used to look at the teachers teaching every Sunday. I used to look at the ministers ministering every Sunday. But I had a bigger picture. Guys, you can dream bigger than where you are. I had a bigger picture. The bigger picture that I had was, and let me tell you, you are allowed to concoct a picture. You are allowed to I concocted my own pictures. I saw myself on stages that were raised with people that were so many, with thousands of people, millions of people gathered, with lights flashing. I had never been on such stages, but I saw lights flashing. Now, that is what our mind is so huge, the capacity of our imagination. The capacity of our imagination. As far as you can see, God can give you that. And I have seen him do this, and I am not even close to where I am supposed to be. I'm not even 1% of where I have to be. That means what God holds in store for us is much bigger than we can ever think about. So you must be very, very intentional. Because I took this intentionality in my hands, and I've shared my story so many times. When I did IT as my first degree, and I mean that came because of guidance and from a certain teacher, because my parents didn't know what I was supposed to do. I am the firstborn. I mean, you don't go through the lack of money, through the lack of school fees, and then you get to senior 6. You don't know what you're supposed to do, and then they have to bring in a teacher somewhere that that is informed about the latest programs, and all of a sudden he's saying that, oh, IT is on the market, and I enroll into IT. But I knew that this is not it. Let me tell you, when you are in a place that you are not supposed to be in, you will know that I am not supposed to be here. Some of us lack the confidence, we lack the self-esteem to even make the decision to say, you know what, I think there's another door, I better open another door. But we stay in places where we are not supposed to be. And I'm going to come to that in a minute. But the intentionality, for me to know, intentionality begins with knowing this is not where I belong. There must be something more than this. There must be something better than this. There must be something that stirs up my spirit. There must be something that makes me sleepless. There must be something more interesting. This is not interesting. This is not interesting. And so I remember while others were graduating and throwing their caps up, and I was looking on, and I was like as a lost goat, like a lost goat. Okay, and I mean, fast forward, I get into business. Business is a bit exciting, but it's not as exciting. This is not it. You know, when you eat something and you're like, yeah, I've tested a meal like this and it has tasted better. Or you've gone to a restaurant and they've given you your usual meal. I do that a lot. When I go to, like, every restaurant, literally, I have a best meal at most of the restaurants and the hotels. And so when I go there, I know exactly what I'm asking for because I want that taste. Okay? I want that particular taste. There's mac and cheese at that is at Cafeteria that I really like. Now, most of the times I know how crunchy the bacon would be, and I know how the salt should taste, and I know how the cheese should taste in the mac and cheese, as in I know what I am looking for. And so most of the times when they give me and the salt is not to the level, or the bacon is actually quite soft or something like that, I'm thinking, no, this is not it. Okay, it's closer to it. It's what you have on the menu, but it's not it. There's something. And so many times I usually ask their waiters, and I'm like, did you change the chef? Like, did you change the chef? And so if I've come to your restaurant, if you're watching and you've ever served me, you know my questions. I usually ask, did you change the chef? What exactly changed? Was it the recipe that changed? There's something not usual about this meal. And so most of the managers know me. They will always say, you know what, let's redo it for you. Or I'll just say, you know what, no, it's okay. This will actually serve. Now, most of us, we go through life settling. And this whole thing started when I was pregnant. And I remember my husband would tell me, but Hilda, you're bothering people. And I'll be like, no, I'm not bothering them. You know how when you're pregnant, your hormones are all over the place. You know exactly, as in you will travel a long distance to go to a particular restaurant or hotel because you want that particular. So if they don't cook it the way they have cooked it before, it bothers you. It bothers you. For those of you that are mothers, at least you can tell. If you want it that way, you want it that way. You want that same taste. If there is anything less about it, no. So I would complain and tell them, no, today, no. And so my husband would be like, but you're disturbing them. I'm like, no, I'm not disturbing them. I came all the way to this place because I have been eating this same meal for the past 6 months and I need it the same. I don't want it different. Now, most of us we settle, we compromise. We're like, I don't want to disturb people. And you don't even want to disturb yourself. Now, intentionality starts when you know that I am dissatisfied. This is not where I'm supposed to be. That is where you can say, now, I need to be able to make a move towards where I need to be able to have a plan. I need to be able to have the intent, okay? Because I have a clear picture. I have a clear taste. Guys, money has a taste. Good life has a taste. Yes? And everything that you want that God created for you has a test. So if you test something less than what you envisioned, that should be assigned to tell you, be more intentional, plan and work towards what you actually want to work towards. So it must be intentional. Number 2, it must be useful. It must be useful. There is no level of growth that God has taken me or I have allowed myself or have been intentional about that is not useful. Whether it was a business decision, whether it was to create a business, whether it was to start a stream of income, whether it was whatever it was, for me it had to be tied to usefulness. It had to be purposeful. Remember, I explained purpose some time ago, and I said purpose is something, it has a use. A bowel has a use, that it holds soup, Okay, a cup has a use that it's used for drinking. A glass has a use that it is used for not just drinking tea, but drinking juice or drinking water. Okay, and different glasses have different uses according to shapes and formats and all that. So you have a use, and there is a reason as to why you were created. And if that use is not served, that means you are lost. You will feel fatigued, you will feel stressed, you will feel depressed, you will feel like life is not it. You will feel as in the unsettling that is life telling you this is not it. If you are not settled, if you're having sleepless nights, if you're thinking endlessly and you're driving yourself crazy, it's because you have to be useful, but you have not arrived at a place of being as useful as you should be. So now, we are talking about the conditions that guarantee growth, okay? Growth, your growth must be useful. We said your growth must be intentional, your growth must be useful, and the third is your growth must be continual. I mean, it must be something that goes on and on. It's not something that stops. When you stop growing, when you stop getting better, when you stop consuming or contributing, when you stop doing the things that you must be able to do, it's like saying that, you know what, I'm going to work out for 1 month and that will be it for the rest of my life. You can't do that. You can't work out for 1 month and then you say you have done everything that you're supposed to do. Workouts are supposed to be a daily thing. They are supposed to be a daily thing. There is no age you can say, actually, you need it more even as you grow older, but you need to start early. Sometimes I wish I started early. I wish I started in my 20s. When you're in your 20s, you feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you have it all figured out. You feel like your body is untouchable. Let me bring bad news to you. When you start growing older, that is when you realize that I should have been more in control about my life. I should have been. I think it's recently that I was actually telling my husband, I feel like I'm more in charge of my life. I think I'm getting more beautiful as I grow. I feel like my workout and my eating habits, I am stabilizing into the goodness of life, the sweetness of life. I feel like I'm getting into a season where I'm looking much better than I even looked at 40. At 20. Why? Because there is more intentionality. There is more intentionality and there is more usefulness. Okay? So every area of your life, your growth must be continual. It must be continuous. It must be every day you aim to get better. Every day you aim to get fitter. Every day you aim to speak better. Every day you aim to coach better. Every day you aim to consult better. Every day you aim to train better. Every day you aim to be useful and to be continuously doing the things that you must be able to do. These are the 3 zones where most of us actually live, okay? And how to be able to move into a challenging or a better zone. Because as we talk about the zones, you're going to discover where exactly you are. And number 1 is the costing zone. The costing zone, costing is like, I don't even know what I have done before. Like, I don't know. I'm in that state where I am very passive, I am stagnant, I'm regressing, and I'm emotionally, mentally, and spiritually checked out. Yeah, how many of us are in that state? If you are honest, this conversation takes a lot of us being very honest with ourselves to admit and say that I don't even do what I have done before. I used to pray. I used to fellowship. I used to go to events. I used to, as in there is, there are things that you used to do that you no longer do. That means you checked out. And then some of us, we lie to ourselves because there is continuous activity in our lives, and these are leaders, and these are ministers, and these are speakers, and these are coaches, and these are, I mean, because there is continuous activity, you're producing content, you are on the pulpit, you're speaking to people, you are, but you feel inside of you, you checked out. You actually checked out. There is good that you were doing. You were researching, you were reading, you were praying, you engaged God in the things that you used to do, as in you felt alive, okay? And all of a sudden now you are just coasting. You checked out. And maybe you achieved something. And I've had people that talk about the good old days, you know, not in the aspect of good old days, but they still reminisce. They still think about and talk about what they used to do. And when you ask them, what are you doing now? Nothing. There is nothing to show for it. But they say, in our time, we prayed, and then what happened? You know, we were the best speakers, and then what happened? You know, I was one of the best coaches, and then what happened? What happened? You checked out. And sometimes we don't check out willingly. Some of us, we have the arrival syndrome. You feel like you arrived. And then when you arrive, you start going down. And when you start going down, gravity is working on you. There is no one going down that notices they are going down. But you know why they never notice? It's because gravity is working on you, and your fall is faster than you can imagine, and you cannot even catch yourself in the middle to say, because gravity is acting on you. And there is no way you can hold yourself in the middle and say, oh, I am actually falling. Oh, I am actually falling. Some of us wait until we hit the rock bottom. And that is where we're like, oh, I was actually falling all along for the past 10 years. Some of us don't know that we have been falling for the past 15 years, for the past 20 years, for the past 5 years. Some of us for the past 1 year, because you've been doing the things that you've been doing, maybe going to the same church, maybe doing the things that you've been doing, or showing up for your business, yeah? But you actually checked out long time ago, and you are just costing. Okay, so maybe you achieved something and you're no longer putting in the effort, and you're living on yesterday's oil. Yeah, you're living on yesterday's stories, good stories of what happened. Create new stories. Okay, create new stories. But that is a zone so many of us are. And I just want us to go through the characteristics, because I know that some of us are actually going through some of these things. You are low on energy, okay, and then you don't initiate. You are low on energy, you don't initiate, and you're living in the past glory, and you're speaking about it like it is today. But that is something that happened long time ago. Oh, you know, I was leading this. Oh, you know, my business was this. Oh, you know, my business was that. You are costing, okay? You are costing. You have so many excuses, and your excuses are more than the actions that you are taking. You're looking at you're talking about the bad economy. You're talking about the new younger people that are coming into ministry, that are coming. If you're an artist, you're actually looking at the younger people that are coming into ministry, and you're thinking these people are spoiling the market. You know, we used to sit like thousands of people. You know, I used to sit. Do you know that I have ever sat this number of people? That is an artist speaking. But now they are in a costing. So many celebrities are in a costing zone. So many artists are in a costing zone. So many pastors and ministers are in a costing zone. So many coaches and speakers are in a costing zone. And the earlier you can tell, the better for you, because then you'll be able to be very intentional about your growth, and you will take matters into your own hands. And then fear of disappointment, because then you're like, back then, I was the man, I was the woman, I was everything, and all of a sudden now I pull my head out and want to do again. For example, I want to do a concert, or I want to do an event, or I want to do, I'm like, you know what, it will be disappointing. But I mean, will it be the same? Will it be the same? So you see, you are actually, you fear disappointing people, and so now you are costing because you don't want to disappoint anyone, and then you have no faith or vision for tomorrow. Some of us, we only talk about vision, we only talk about, but we don't have the vision. We only talk about faith, but we don't have the faith. Why? Because we have crammed these words for a very long time, but these words are inapplicable in our lives. So if you're in the costing zone, just know that you don't have faith, because if you had faith, you would tackle bigger things. You would start, you would be reignited, because when you have faith, you're like, this is, you know, I mean, things I hope for. And now I have, my hope is alive. My hope is alive that I can actually get back to the scene and a lot better. I can restart that business. I can actually go for more skills. I can actually put on better. I can wake up early. I can go through my devotion. A person who does that is one that has hope. That, by the way, I'm starting on this journey, but I'm not going to be stagnant. I'm actually moving. And that's the best thing that you can actually do for yourself. That is the best thing you can do for yourself. So, these characteristics, if they speak to you, just know that you are in a zone that we call costing, and it's not helping. Why are you in that zone? I think we might have to do series in this. Why are you in that zone? You fear failure. You feel like if I restart, it's possible that I will fail. Some of us, by the way, are even in the costing season about jobs, okay? And you used to be very enthusiastic. Write your resume, write your CV, go, you know, knock on doors. If you were a marketeer, you were going out there and, you know, doing all these things. But now all the characteristics we've talked about, you're like, you guys, do you know that I used to sell this, you know, commodities worth this money? Do you know I used to move from country to country? Do you know I used to do this and this and this? If you are basking in the past glory, I am calling you to action right now, and I'm telling you what you need is the faith and the belief that you can still grow. The Bible says that even when a tree is cut, even when a tree is cut down, but the trunk is still in the ground, by the scent of the water, that it can sprout again. That means hope is not lost. It is not lost, okay? I don't want to just talk about these things and leave you pending and say, oh, I'm in the costing season, what do I do? Even when the tree has been cut down and the trunk is in the ground, if by the scent of the water, it can sprout again, okay? So most people fear failure, and so they don't want to start ministry again. They don't want to, if they're artists, they're like, you know what, I don't even have the guts to go to a studio anymore. I don't have the guts to even get a pen and a paper to record, to even start composing a song anymore. I just don't feel it in me, okay? Number two is burnout. Most people are burnt out. Great people that were great CEOs of companies, people that found companies and they have organizations and they lead organizations. Some of those people are actually moving like the living dead, but there is nothing that is useful that is happening in their lives because they got burnt out, okay? And so they are in the costing season because they were burnt out and they never did anything about it. They never found a coach that would help them to rejuvenate, to recalibrate their vision, to come back to align with their values, okay, to ask them what exactly do you see, to clarify the vision that they have. Hope is not lost. If you are in the costing season, if you are of your life and you get to know that I am costing, right now what I'm doing is I'm giving you language. I'm giving you language to understand what is happening in your life. And the reason as to why I know so well this kind of feeling is because I have ever hit that kind of spot, because it is very easy for any leader, for any person that wants to grow, that wants to become anything, to actually hit the costing season. So if you've identified, for me it took identifying and understanding that there is a lot more that must be done in my life, and I need to be able to rejuvenate, to re-engage, okay, and to recalibrate my energy and just make sure that I'm in motion again, okay. And then sometimes it's the deep discouragement and trauma. Sometimes we get traumatized by so many things. We get traumatized by how we failed, by how people laughed at us when we failed, and how things have not worked out the way we thought they would work out. And so we get so discouraged by people's words. People's words become like piercing spears. Their tongues become as sharp as peers, when they start speaking, when they start putting you down, when they start demoralizing you. So you went through all that, but you never recovered, and you are still costing, and that is why you still in that place. And then over dependence on others, over dependence on others. You don't believe in your own creativity, you don't believe in your own thoughts, you don't believe in your own ambition, you don't believe in your own vision, you don't believe in your own values. If you are, those 5 things are very, very important for you to own them and run with them, because they give you the energy, they give the impetus, they give you the zeal to keep going, to keep unfold. I mean, new day after new day, new season after new season. But if you are in the costing season, chances are the reason as to why you're still there, you're over depending on other people, and you don't want to take to activate, or even to what would I call it, to take initiative. Yes, to initiate this, because remember, one of the things that we talked about is you're not initiating anymore. You gave up, you checked out. So now you need to be able to initiate. What must you do? What must you do in order to regain that or to go on? And that is where I'm actually in the process of creating, and this is going to be released on my birthday. That is somewhere in May. But it is 100 days of accountability, 100 days of finishing what you started, 100 days of creating what you are meant to create, 100 days where I will follow you up, where you can sign up as an individual and you can get into the 100 days with Bahati. 100 days is going to recalibrate. It is going to bring back the energy. It is going to realign you with your vision. It is going to realign you with your calling, with your purpose, with your usefulness, with the intention, so that you can be able to run the rest of this year with the clarity of your vision and how you can be able to grow. Guys, the 100 days is meant to stretch you. It's meant to grow you. It's meant to make you better. And I hope that you can be able. So if you are watching this, it's very simple. You just send me 100 days. Yeah, 100 days. Just send me 100 days. That is enough sign for me to know that you actually want to be able to get into this, where I will work hand in hand with you, with daily prompts, with accountability, not leaving you alone to cost around. How long have you been costing? Some of us have been costing for the past 5 years. We've been costing for the past 10 years. We've been costing for the past, for the past 20 years. I have gone to speaking engagements into companies, and someone tells you, when I hold their hands and pray over them while I am leaving, someone follows me to the car and says that the prayer that you prayed, that prayer, as in I felt something shift, and it was just 2 minutes of prayer. I need to be able to, I need accountability. I need accountability in prayer. I need to move. I don't know. The past 20 years of my life, and the person that is speaking to me, the most not annoying but painful thing is they are in their 50s, okay? And let me tell you, the reason as to why it's painful for me is now you've lost 20 years of your life. You don't know what you were doing. You were just there. You were just existing, okay? And there was no initiative, there was no action, there was no happiness, there was no joy, because in the costing season of your life, there is no joy, there is no happiness. You are just loitering around like a vagabond. And when you live in the past glories, people see you and they judge you according to the past glory. When you were energetic, when you used to do things, when you used to be creative, when you used to be out there chasing visions, okay, and attracting the future that God has for you at the expected end that He has predestined for you. And people look at that, yeah, and they're like, it doesn't live for long. After some time they'll be like, but I don't understand them. I don't understand them. So if you are living in such kind of scenario of costing, let me tell you, you need help. You need to be jump started. And that is where the 100 days come in. You need you need someone to jumpstart you. And remember, you cannot go to another person that is powerless to get the jump starting. You can only jumpstart something if you have the power to jumpstart it, if you have the power to charge it, if you have the power to pass on. So you need someone that has the power, okay? The power, someone that is plugged in, okay, to be able to jumpstart you. And when you jumpstart, you need to be able to keep moving. That is why you don't jumpstart a car and then it stays motionless. No, you jumpstart a car and it's already in ignition and it's already going, okay? And so you need to be able to engage. But I just need to look at what God actually talks about. I told you this is going to be in series form. We cannot just do everything, talk about everything today. But in Proverbs 24:30, it says that I passed by the field of a sluggard, and it was all overgrown with thorns. It was all overgrown with thorns. Some of us are like that, the sluggards, the lazy. We talked about where the Bible says that look at ants. They don't have a leader. They don't have an emperor, but they keep food for the winter. That means they are not coasting around. Otherwise, if they were coasting around, they would die because winter would come and they would have no food, okay? And it says that you lazy sluggard, okay, that poverty will pounce on you like a vagabond. How many of us have moved closer to poverty, closer to lack? Why? Because we were just coasting around. We were just here and there. You remember the conversation that Job had with God when God was asking, where have you been? And he's like, I've been around. I've been just moving around, you know. So if the devil is the master at costing, why are we costing exactly? Because our God is a God of growth. Our God is a God that calls us into thriving, into flourishing. We are not supposed to live in the sinking mode. We're not supposed to live in the struggling and survival mode. We are supposed to be thriving in abundance, And the only way we move towards that is not costing. Costing is not moving. That is why I told you I have created a program for you, a guided program for you, 100 days, 100 days of growth, 100 days of stretching, 100 days that you will be able to run towards your vision, that you will be able to take initiative, that you will be able to create the kind of life that you live, that you will be able to dream again. All right? And so when you look at Revelations 3:15 says, because you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. As in, where are you exactly? Where are you? Okay? As in, you no longer do the things that you used to do. And he says that if you're not warm, but again you're not cold, you are lukewarm, you are in the middle. No, decide where you want to fall. Do you want to be warm? Do you want to be hot, or do you want to be cold? Don't be lukewarm. Don't be lukewarm. And in the season of costing, that is, we are in the season of lukewarmness. Even when you are a Christian, whatever religion, because I know that I speak to so many people through this podcast and through this TV program. I speak to Muslims, I speak to Catholics, I speak to Orthodox, I speak to all kinds of people. Let me tell you, if you used to do something and you no longer do it, okay, you are in the season of lukewarmness. And he says in Revelation 3:15 that because you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. He also wants to deal with vessels of value, okay? With vessels of value. Are you that vessel of value? You cannot be vessel of value if you are in the costing season. In Isaiah 43:18, it says that forget the former things. See, I am doing a new thing. Forget. I want us to forget that season. In the 100 days, it is 100 days of forgetting that season of costing, okay, reprogramming our minds, renewing our minds, and running the race again, the race that was set before us, and with acknowledgement of the new thing that God is doing in our lives. And he says, you will see it. You will see it. okay, and everyone around you. Let me tell you, the moment you get out of, because we will talk about the other zones, I don't think I can be able to talk about them in this particular episode, but let me tell you, when you start moving, you will glow different, your skin will look different, as in your body responds to growth. Your body responds to challenge. Your body responds to ambition. It responds to dreams. A person that is dreaming big does not look like a person that has no dreams at all. A person that is ambitious does not look the same. They don't speak the same. They don't eat the same. They don't walk the same. A person that is ambitious, a person that is headed somewhere, a person that has a clear vision of where they want to go, the kind of investment they do right now is different. It is different. Your investment is determined by the dreams that you have. So what kinds of dreams do you have? What kinds of dreams? Because yes, 100 days takes personal investment. Financially, it takes personal investment, and for the first 20 people that actually sign up into this, I'm giving you half price. Yeah, just to make sure that I get you started. I need you to be able, and remember, you're the first here on, if you're watching this on TV, that means you are the first to hear it. So that means you should be able to run, because I know that my spots are going to be filling out so soon, because I'm not taking, I can't create accountability for 1,000 people. No, I can only create accountability for a few people. So this is just for a chosen few. If you feel that the next season of your life is very important and you want to get unstuck, you want to get out of the costing season, and if you're just joining us right now, we have so many things that we talked about what costing is, the traits, and you know how you can tell that you're in the costing season and why you have stayed in the costing season, and the scripture references that we talked about. I need you to be able to go through and watch everything before you can even think about signing up for the 100 days with Bahati. 100 days of growth, 100 days of stretching, 100 days of finishing what you started. 100, it doesn't matter what you started, but 100 days of being able to create the kind of life that you deserve and the kind of life that God has destined for you. All right, so forget the former things, see I'm doing a new thing. How do you move forward from this? Okay, I want you to be able to renew your vision. Ask, what did God put in me that I am neglecting? What am I neglecting? Some of us are neglecting our own feelings. Some of us are neglecting how we look, how we feel about things, how stuck we feel, how how everything is just not working out, and you're like, you know what, you are zoning out everything and you are blank right now. You're like, you know what, I don't want to think about that. That is too hard. What did God deposit inside of you that you are neglecting? Were you on the journey to writing a book and you stopped at chapter 1? Were you in the journey to becoming a coach but you never enrolled into that mentorship? Were you on the journey to becoming a great speaker and you just didn't enroll for that program that you wanted to enroll? Were you on the journey to become the biggest CEO, the best CEO in the world, but you checked out because you were burnt out and because you were discouraged and because you fear failure and because you over depend on other people and you're not taking personal initiative to be in the driver's seat of your life? What is it? Were you in the phase of creating a business and then you got discouraged somewhere and you just coasting around and people are telling you, what's up, we thought you would have started by now, we thought, and the more they ask you, the more you fear disappointing them, and the more you fear disappointing them, the more you fear failure, and the more you fear failure, the more you do nothing about it, and so you have been coasting for the longest time in your life. When you get when you start the phase of coasting, your appetite as well changes. By the way, there is no one that is in the season of coasting that is eating healthy. Everyone that is in the season in the coasting zone is one that is eating unhealthy because you are stressed. Because when have you ever had the underlying stress of knowing that I have to do something but I'm not doing it? I am stressed because I'm not doing it, and then I'm not getting myself to doing it, and then you're like what kind of life is this? What kind of life is this? You are the one stressing yourself. You are the one. You know what to do, but you are not doing it. Remember, we say that when you're in the costing season, you're no longer doing what you used to do. Yeah? So you lack the personal drive, the self-drive. Okay? And here we say, renew your vision. Renew your vision. In the 100 days, the first thing that we do is to create a vision for you. Before we create the roadmap of how to achieve that vision, we create a vision. A vision that I'm going to remind you, a vision that I will hold to your face, a vision that is going to give you the energy, a vision that is going to give you the ambition, a vision that is going to give. We must create and we must renew that vision, and that is part of what we are going to do in the 100 days. And then number two, you must be able to start small, because some of us, we want to be able to. This is what happened. There's a time you hyped yourself out of the costing zone. Yeah, I've not talked about the other zones. That means I'm going to talk about them in the next episodes. But there's a season you hyped yourself up and you felt like, you know what, I'm getting out of this costing zone. I'm getting, and I will tell you this, costing zone is not the same as comfort zone. We will talk about the comfort zone, but the costing zone is totally different. So you hyped yourself out and you're like, you know what, I am going to work out. So I am going to hit the gym, and then I'm going to buy the gym gear. I'm going to buy everything that I need. So you buy a gym bag, you order for the for the attire, you order for the ropes, you order for the mat, for the yoga mat. You have everything. You've hyped yourself up. And some of us did this in January. Yeah. I know you thought about it and you even laughed about it. You thought about it in January. When December was coming to an end, in the beginning of December, you're in the hustle and the bustle of everything, sweets, eating, partying, all those things, spending, spirits high. And some of us do that to cover up the kind of hollow kind of feeling that we are actually going through. Some people celebrate in the real celebratory spirit, but some people actually are trying to cover up whatever is lacking in their lives. And then 27th kicks of December, and all of a sudden we get into the overdrive of what we must be able to be in the new year. And all of a sudden we are in the frenzy of creating resolutions. And but remember, resolutions is not renewal of the vision. Yeah, resolution is just like you hyping yourself up. Okay, and sometimes setting yourself up for failure, like seriously speaking. So now, you start the year, you have your gear, you're going to keep fit because you've been eating too much, and now you're going to go on diet, and now you're going to do exercise, and you just bombard everything at the same time. And guess what? Within less than a week or 2 weeks, you're thinking twice, your energy is low, the excuses are back in, all the traits of costing that we talked about are actually back in. And so all of a sudden, you get discouraged because you're not seeing the results in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. That is why we made this 100 days, okay? So this is what happens. Then you lose momentum. Why? You didn't start small. When you start small, you take one new action daily, one small new action daily, okay? And whether it's to increase the time, whether it's not, for me, when I'm even recommitting to do some of the things, I usually take my time. I usually think through it, and then I usually take smaller steps, because then it helps me to build into the bigger picture that I want to be able to do. So I don't want you to say, next week, Monday, I'm going to not eat like for the whole day. I've been eating a lot, so I'm not going to eat the whole day. No, start by missing one meal. Maybe you do breakfast and miss lunch and then do supper. You cannot say you're going to all of a sudden. It's like people who just wake up and say, I'm just getting into a water fast, for 72 hours, for 73 hours. No, you don't do that. You prepare your body. Your body has been used and accustomed to a certain way of eating, and all of a sudden you want to disrupt the whole system because you don't have personal accountability, and because you're in the costing season and you feel like you want to get out of the costing season. You must get out of the costing season the right way. Otherwise, you're going to burn out, and then the burnout is going to take you back to the costing, and so it's going to be a vicious cycle of costing, and you're going to go 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You lose 10 years. You look back and you're like, where did the 10 years go? Like, what did I do in the 10 years? And I don't want that to be you. Okay, next thing is get accountability. You can't climb alone. You can't, because everything worthwhile is uphill. So even you wanting to get to anything, to grow, growth is uphill. Okay, that is why we talk about accountability. We talk about accountability is so important. Someone that you can tell, this is what I did. And, you know, and it's not like reporting yourself. It's not like assignments. It's not like, but the small chunks of things that you must be able to report to self, to just be accountable to someone and tell them, this is what I accomplished today. I like it so much when my mentees send me and say, oh, today this is what I posted. Or today this is what I created. Or this week I'm creating this and this is what I'm doing. I'm like, go get it, you know. Most of the times I'll even put emojis of, you know, I'm like, yeah, you got this, go ahead and do it, go ahead and do it. And it's possible that by the way what they have sent me is actually not so good enough, yeah, because I have been in this in this game for a very long time, but they are just starting. Now accountability, that means you must be accountable to a good mentor that gives you time to grow, that does not expect that you're going to get to where they are in an instant, in a week, or even in a month, or even in a year. That yes, eventually you can grow past them, past your mentor, and that is allowed. A good mentor should be one that can deposit inside of you and pour into you until you can even become better than her or him. Okay, so I need you to get accountability, and then last, I need you to be able to pray bold prayer. Ask God to reignite you. Some of us, when we go to God, we ask for big things. We ask for money. We ask for breakthroughs. How about you go to God and you don't ask for any of these things? You just tell God, I need to recommit to growth. I need to recommit to be closer to you. I need to seek your face. I need to grow. I need to reignite my spirit, reignite my enthusiasm in life, reignite my happiness, reignite the joy within, reignite the vision, recalibrate the vision inside of me. Be very honest when you make the bold prayers, because then you are telling God, this is where I am. I am pathetic as I am right now, but I fall into your hands, because I know that in your hands I have help, because I know in your hands I have hope, and I know that in your hands I will be guided to the place that you want me to actually go. I want to be able to do it according to your plan, not according to not my will, but according to your will. I guess Jesus prayed that prayer when he said that, you know, I wish this cup could be taken away from me, but not according to my will, but according to your will. I know that growth is painful. I know growth is hard. And I know that you becoming better is hard. But just like we said, it takes you being intentional, it must be useful, and it must be continuous. We never give up on growing. So for those of you that want to grow with me, I need you to be able to come to me. Remember, I said, get into my DMs, get into my WhatsApp, get into, like, whichever way you can get a hold of me. Just wave the sign 100 days. And when you send 100 days, I'm going to make sure that we are in touch so we can be able to begin the journey of getting out of costing period and the zone of your life, so you can be able to get into a zone where you can grow, where you are challenged and where you are stretched, and where you can actually attain the things that you have set to attain. My numbers are open. You have them on the screen. Come to my WhatsApp. Basically, WhatsApp works faster for me. Come to my WhatsApp, say 100 days. For those of you that need you have different places where you have speaking engagements and you feel that this is something that you need to grow and you need to be challenged into getting better, invite me into those spaces. For those of you that need the books are still available. Make sure that you come for them at Media Plaza. We will make sure that we actually serve you to the best. Accelerated mentorship is open for those of you that want to be coaches, speakers, consultants, counselors, and you know, people that want to create personal brands and business brands that will thrive. Accelerated mentorship is open for you. All right, those are the people that want to bring a difference in terms of coaching and speaking and consulting and and training. And for those of us that want to grow into achieving our visions, that is where the 100 days come in. So let's talk, let's chat, and let's grow together. I love you.